Okay, so I just had a call ask about working a location that I've already been at, right? And so I was at that location and it was easy. So now the sergeant called me saying, "Hey, can you work the location again on a Sunday?" I said, "Okay. I'm working somewhere else, but I can get somebody for you." So I call a friend, and this is a friend that I've actually given cash to, so she can go to the same training that I did in order to become a security guard, and she can start making money because right now she's using her retirement. So I called her and I was just like, "Hey, this requires you to sit in your car. You have to drive around every hour." And because there's very little activity, the apartments is being shut down or whatever, but there's still a couple of families there. So what you got to do is anytime you do see anything, just go ahead and make a note of it, because that's going to be the only contribution to a report that you're going to be able to submit hourly. And so you just sit in your car. And she was just like, "Okay, well, how much am I going to get paid?" And I was like, "Okay." I told her how much she was going to get paid and what the hours were, because it's a 12-hour shift and she's never done security before. So she started asking a whole bunch of other questions, and I answered these questions because I'm feeding into the fact that she's never done security before. She's gone through the course but never actually done a post before, right? And so we continue. It's like maybe like 35 minutes into the conversation, and I was just like, I can't get back to the other person because I'm still answering your questions, and what I'm picking up is your fear. And I want you to know that you're going to get your questions answered when you actually do it. And I was just like, there's this fear in it. This fear that I'm hearing from you is just not what we need to be doing, is not what we need to be exhibiting as believers. And she was just like, "Yeah, but this is not the route that we had for ourselves." And we were praying with each other. And I'm sorry, I am recording on my tablet, and so I'm just trying to get it to where I can let me be still. So this is my seatbelt. Anyways, so I was telling her, yes, the fear that you have, she's like, it's just filled with me trying to know. And I said, I understand that you're trying to know, but I want you to also keep in mind that what I should have said to her is Abraham, because Abraham in the scripture did not have all the answers. He didn't even ask it a lot of questions. He just followed the instruction that he was given. Now we're talking about Abraham and God, right? We're talking about all knowing, right? So, and we're talking about someone who fully loves you and has foreknowledge. So that's who Abraham was working with, right? And so I do know that I want to use as his behavior as an example, but the way he responded was because he was working with the all-knowing power and someone who fully loves him. And yes, I do love my friend, and I'm not trying to put her in a bad situation, and nobody wants to be embarrassed and go out to a location and then turns out they're not even qualified or they can't even work or whichever. But there are a amount of questions that we can ask to make that the person, the hearer, the other person on the other end be like, "You know what, your incompetency is showing." And I was telling her, like, we are more than qualified. We've been parole officers together, and I want her to know that sitting in your car watching an apartment and recording activity is beneath you. This is something that we can do. We can do more than this, more intricate work, more complex work. The only thing is that our position in this scenario is that we have to take care of it as security guards. And the issue is that, no, we don't. We call the police. That's our job. Our job is to, "Hey, y'all better get over here. Hey, y'all, hurry up," And don't ever get it twisted and think, because sometimes Avengers wear security guard shirts and sometimes Avengers wear police officer shirts. And there are things that police officers have limitations as well. They aren't to do every and all thing under the sun that has to do with danger, harm, and protecting. No, they also have limitations as well. And so I do know that for anyone watching this video, if you are in a situation to where you are the hero, or you are the one that is so filled with fear that you're going to ask so many questions that you're going to talk yourself out of it, I called someone who I know is using their retirement to live right now, to survive right now. And I said, "Hey, this is and look at the position that I called her for." They're giving out money if you come here, and she's already gone through the schooling, because I wouldn't be able to call anyone else. I mean, I would call my mom and be like, hey, come over here, come sit and come get this hourly wage. I would ask my kids to do it. I'm like, hey, I got 3 of them, that can come sit in this car, and you pay all 3 of us, call 4 of us. But because she's gone through the security training, and she's qualified to sit, and I called her and I said, hey, we can do this, but when do I become pushy? At what point do I become, at what point is it aggressive, because I do know that I can, yes, I felt like I was encouraging her. Yes, I felt like I was trying to build her up and remind her who she is. Like, girl, did you hear the tasks? Sit in your car and record any activity. It's for 12 hours. These are the things we need to be concerned about, not the danger. The fact that you need to be concerned that you didn't come report to that location without a book, some Sudoku, a Bible, something to knit. That's what you need to be concerned about. But I'm not going to call you and come put you in danger. I didn't call her to come work security at the clubs. I called her to come work security at an apartment complex that is boarded up, but there's a couple of families that still live on the property. And there are people that do not live on the property that are coming into this location and trying to loot copper and I mean, if they're walking around with wires and insulation, then we call the police. That's what we're here to do, And so 12 hours may go and nothing happened, and great. That's great news. We need to look at that as like great and fantastic news. And she was just like, are you sure? I don't know. The sergeant is looking for someone that's qualified. And I said, girl, we are more than qualified. We're not just educated. We have the reasoning to be able to know that that looks suspicious. Let me call the police. And I told her, just call me. If it looks suspicious, call me. But when it turns out to be suspicious, we will then notify the police. But I don't want to be aggressive, and I don't want to be pushy. And I do know a person like me, because I want you to have something. I will begin to boost you up, and I will begin to remind you of who you are and where you, in comparison to whatever it is that the topic, the subject matter is at the time. But then I was just like, vouching for people is not what I'm here to do. So you've got to at least meet me halfway with your courage. I think it's more respectful for me to allow people to meet me with my enthusiasm. They need to meet my enthusiasm with at least, okay, girl, you thought about me? I'm gonna come out there. What? That shouldn't be too much to ask. That shouldn't be too much to ask. Yeah. Anywho, this is a reflection of me. Yeah, this is not about her. This is about me. I should have really said, hey, I got this. Would you like it? Hey, I know I'm calling you short notice, but think it over and get back to me. Shouldn't even got on the phone to go back and have no 30, 45-minute call. Because I don't know right now if I'm trying to ignore her. Was I annoyed with her? How you gonna be annoyed with somebody that they ain't been out to the location? Of course you cool with it. Of course you comfortable about it. I've been out to the location, but sometimes I just know that if she does one shift of security, she'll be like, oh, okay, that was nothing. It will build courage. This is somebody who's well, that kind of person, she's that kind of person. I know that when she continues to do security, a spine will begin to cement in her. A boldness will begin to brew. A courage will begin to just sprout out of her. And I want that for her. But wanting anything for anybody that can't meet you with their own enthusiasm, you gotta chill. You got to chill. Because even if you bring them to the promised land, they're going to destroy it. Because people got to be ready. There are people that value, even myself included. I will mess up a good opportunity, a good relationship, a good day, because of the way that I talk, the way that my perspective is, because I'm so focused on something else, I miss it. Because of how I behave, because of how I think, because of how I talk. We can mess up good things. If we don't value what is good, we can't recognize what is good, and we can't treat it as good. I said my piece.